people as you go along. So you know what I'm saying? It's just a learn. It's everything's learned. You can't. Everybody hasn't arrived. No, even me. I haven't arrived. So you just learn things as you go along. Maybe another time you set it up differently. Maybe another time you say to him, "Well, just whatever what you need to say first, and just let me finish this point, and then carry on." You know what I'm saying? It's the way it goes. And and Leon jumped in and he made his. You know what I'm saying? It's the way it goes. We're getting there, bro.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even a big deal like that. I was just pointing out because I don't feel like it was understood for it to be taken to everyone else.
It's understood now. It's cool now, though.
The point I was making. So what I'm saying is that some part of my personal mission is to set the example. Another part of my personal mission is to link with the brothers actually in the industry, because I feel like it's going to be more powerful for them to get some sort of unity amongst them, and a unified message for the youths from them. I feel like in the long run, if both missions are executed, so if the whole community came out and was to be condemning them, I don't know. Personally, this is what I believe. We're not doing to condemn
them. We said the record companies. We said the record. It's not them. If they gave them, you know what I'm saying? If they gave them an avenue to make a different type of music, do you think that they would make no money? The fact is that the record companies create. I know when they created it because I was there complaining about it before it got to this level. They create the avenue for them to make this money. They create the state helps them to create these avenues of locking them up, of putting the guns in the cars on the street, of giving the Indian man guns in the shops. So it's all being created beforehand. So I'm saying, let me finish my point, sir. Right, so it's all of this stuff is being created beforehand. I understand that. I'm saying I'm not talking about going at them. I said to you, it's the record companies. They have a social responsibility. And then when you create different avenues, people get better at different things. This wasn't happening 20 years ago because the avenue wasn't open. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. And if you create an avenue, if tomorrow you say, right, tomorrow it's all about guns and sex and rare. Tomorrow, then people will find lyrics around that. If they say tomorrow it's about the promotion and the development of black community, these people do not want that because they won't be able to sell their wares that way. Black people are going to want to start FUBU again. They're going to want to start cross colors again. They're going to want to start develop their own. So they won't be supporting the white system as it stands. They won't be buying syrup. And next man will be trying to get his way in so he can buy his own brand of liquor. And they think that's what they're looking for. So what I'm saying is that by affecting them with their social they have to roll. By affecting the record companies with a social responsibility for what they're doing, you know what I'm saying, and being able to articulate, like what a murder is under anybody's, whether it's you or not or whoever, but articulate what murder is murder by anyway. Let's say Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? But by continuing things to happen in our own community without addressing them is going to continue this same pattern of behavior.
Doctor. Wow.
Who am I speaking to now?
Yeah, it's MA, bro.
All respect, bro. Yeah.
Respect. Yeah, I had a few things to say. I just want us to go back and forward a little bit and kind of just reason on a few points.
Okay.
So one of them, this is addressed to everybody. 2 points I'll say. Number one, where's the accountability for the actual black community? Because I'm thinking about, I'm going back like 20, 30 years now in my head, yeah? I'm thinking about the time, okay, gangster rap wasn't really, gangster rap is from like late 80s, yeah? That's when it was really, when it really kind of came to the fore. And I can kind of remember a time where really it was side by side with conscious rap. It's not that there was no conscious rap and just gangster rap, and it weren't just that there was no gangster rap and just conscious. It was side by side. And even before that, you had the kind of, the blink culture was already there from early, alongside the breakdancing, etc., etc. So my thing is, I don't think it's a black and white issue. I don't think it's a clear cut. You can't draw a line between kind of the black community and the record labels and say that the flow of influence is only coming from the labels.
No, that's not what I said. Not only. That's what we're saying. You can't just if you don't decide to attack something, what are you? You're not attacking anything. You keep saying it's not that alone. It's not that alone. So what is it then? You know what I mean? You have to get the attention, right? If you wrote out every word that said nigger and every word that, and you put white there and you gave it to a white person, do you think they would endorse that? No, they wouldn't. It's a rhetorical question. They wouldn't endorse it, because what you've gotten used to as a black community is the negativity that you spill out to each other, because the white people who control everything are happy for you to do it. So I'm not saying that's all. That's not all, because there's behavioralism problems, there's impulse problems, there's prefrontal, there's all that sort of problems we've got. What I am saying, there is something that you. What else you got? What else? The main thing that I've seen in my lifetime is the change, because a lot of our life is based around music. Isn't that a foregone conclusion? So if the music now says kill black people, what did you think was going to happen? If the music says take more drugs, take Molly and take all that, what do you think was going to happen when the youths, them who are 11, have no consciousness at that moment, who listen to for 5, 6, 7 years a music saying, yeah, fuck that girl, do this, that, from 11 till 15. So you don't think it's going to be an influence at all?
Doctor, are you saying that because what I'm trying to work out is whether the egg came before the chicken or the chicken became before the egg? Because if the fact of the matter is, I don't think that people are these rappers are, just out of the blue rapping this stuff, not living it, and then people are taking it up. I think people are rapping about their lifestyles, and there's certain lifestyles that are being pushed. But Doctor, do you know what the most violent genre of music is?
Which one is it?
Heavy metal, probably.
I'm asking if you know first, or do you not know?
No, don't know.
Okay, so the most violent form of music first is actually country music. They talk about hanging. They obviously used to talk about hanging niggas, and it's all about murder and killing your wife and domestic violence. That's a fact. That's a fact. And then second to that, as you lot just said, it's the rock. It's the rock and the metal.
That's what I'm saying. It's no good spilling out facts if it doesn't.
Let me come in next, please.
It doesn't spill out in reality. These are facts, but they're not reality for us. These might be facts, but they're not reality for us.
Let me add to that.
Do country roster people do drive-bys? Do they? You know what I'm saying? Do they sell drugs?
I'm sure a lot of the people that do them school shootings and them church shootings have been listening to either heavy rock, metal, or some of this country music. I'm 99% sure. Yeah. Absolutely. So what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to nullify the point within our community. All I'm trying to point out is that even though they might not be doing it in the same way, there's still definitely that reality that's prevalent. But bro,
it's got a whole litany of music that covers that music up. In the mainstream of life, that's not what their music is. This is our mainstream life. That means from the baby to the deaf. That's what we listen to. Where in their life, when you talk about country music, that's a genre. When you talk about heavy metal, that's a genre. When you talk about live music, that's a genre.
That's not true either, bro. That's not true either, bro. If you're honest, bro, if we're honest, Doctor, we're gonna say that the mainstream is Stormzy and people that are making gospel music. These drill man are still at the bottom of the actual music industry. They are not mainstream, bro. This violence thing is not. It's not the mainstream music. It's mainstream
in terms of mainstream. In terms of
when you're getting airtime, you're mainstream king. But when you're getting airtime is radio.
This is what I'm trying. This is what I'm saying. Like, I get this. What I'm saying. It's very difficult. It's very difficult where people rinse out facts, based upon facts, but the reality is not what's being borne out. So whilst you're saying that's factual in terms of mainstream, our mainstream is what's being played on Radio 1 Extra, all these, that's what our mainstream is. So we're not talking about this ultimate mainstream where, only, middle class children go to and listen to. We're talking about our mainstream, which is which is the pirate. Oh, bruv, let me just finish. Which is the pirate radio stations. Yeah, all these places where people listen to on their radios, and that's our mainstream. So maybe I need to correct myself. The mainstream of our music is that type of music. Yeah. If you're dealing with the elders, you're dealing with another type of music. But in between the age of say 11 to say 25, that's what they're listening to.
Yeah, man, don't listen to like Extra and all them things that we listen to pirate radio. He's right. Our mainstream is definitely the pirate networks.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, who's at the top?
Drill is strictly on YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah, but remember, Stormzy still about the stuff about licking that man and doing that. He still sung the same grime stuff. He's just made it with the music that is more complementary to his stuff.
Are we looking out against grime and hip hop?
This is what I'm trying to say to you. See where we've gone now. This is what we derail our own argument. We're talking about what we can do to help them realize that we care about our people.
We need to change.
It's not the music that we're looking at. We're looking against. When you sing a song set to shoot that brother on the ends, nothing good's gonna come out of that. So if you have that, like you said, if you have that measured against,
we need to focus on not shooting a man, innit? We need
to focus on that. Not stabbing a man, not killing a man.
But then you can say,
let this guy say, MA say something.
I'm the one that gets heard as the one that speaks over people. When other people jump in, no one don't say nothing. I mean, understand me? So I'm gonna ask politely this time if I can jump in still. If I just jump in and do what man them are doing, I stand out. You understand me?
Well, let MA say because he brought up. Let him come back first. Then let him come back first. Then Dan, and then you come after him. Go on, MA.
Just a brief thing, Danny. Quickly. Yeah. Now I wanted to say, okay. First, if we can agree, yeah. Doctah was making a point earlier on about obviously how powerful music is and how easy it is to influence the masses through music. Yeah, it's well documented over centuries, decades, what have you. Yeah, if we can agree that the power of music is so influential, it can perpetuate particular narratives. Yeah, then we have to agree that there's a circular inevitability about the situation currently, whereby yes, we have to change the situation in order to change the art form. Yeah, but if the art form isn't being attacked as well, then the reality is never going to change.
That's right. Absolutely. Because the lifestyle is we still got the lifestyle to deal with, because that's where the music's coming from. But I remember when the lifestyle wasn't there. The lifestyle was created. The lifestyle wasn't always there. I remember because I used to lecture about it coming.
It was created through the music, King.
Yeah.
You understand me?
I was lecturing about it coming. I said, this is what's going to happen next.
Man, when baby boys, when certain things were getting promoted out here, King. Yeah. Do you understand me? Yeah. Even the early days of Grimes. Yeah. I can tell you about the early day of Grime. And bro, man used to talk about walking street looking cute in my tracksuit. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, R.I.P. Stormy. There was bubbly vibes before. Yeah, listen, the first bad boy grime artist was God's gift, innit? If you know, you know. Yeah, you can go call Jammer and call whoever you want. People call whoever you know in the industry. Wiley, anybody, Skepta, they will tell you God gift was the first boy from Page. Then Fussy Wall, that was the first when it started to get grimy. By then it wasn't even grime yet. That was garage converting into grime.
Yeah.
But before that, man used to talk about bringing girl flowers and rare and all sweet.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah? But then it grew. Then man started talking about bring arms out to your mum's house and rare. Then man started. Then one, two little stabbing start happening. One man might get stabbing and rave.
Absolutely.
A bit of pushing. But it weren't like the level of this drill thing. This drill thing is a whole next level now, bro. And not because grime was grime and compare it to grime. And yeah, we can compare it to grime in some aspects. But in how the drill thing is moving right now, King, youths are really dying over what man are saying in tracks. Over what man's going on Charlie Sloth's show and saying. What they're going in West House and saying. Man are really dying, bro. Yeah? And then week after one you says rare. The next week after, and they're replying to what they were saying the week before on the same white man show, in the same masterman show.
Danny, add something to that, bro. When you're ready.
The masterman's putting food in Oliver Ghetto-Youth's mouth. You understand me?
Listen.
I care about the one that are dying and the food in their mouth.
Listen, bro. I got to lock off for midnight. Yeah, so You know what I mean? Let's try and see if we can come up to something.
Let me just add something quickly to Danny's statement there, because Danny's talking sense. Yeah, right. I used to work in Deptford Green School. Yeah, I don't know if you lot can hear me. I used to work in Deptford Green School. Yeah, and I used to support Myron, innit? Myron that died a couple years ago. Still, M. Dot. Now them youths in that school. Yeah, a lot of them youths weren't really on nothing. Yeah, they used to go home, play PlayStation, have their dinner, and then come back to school. Yeah. And very, very slowly, you will see the year 8s, some of the year 7s, but very few of them. But the year 8s will start to get involved and get to immerse themselves in that kind of culture, yeah. And they got no business being any part of that. White youths as well, you know, all different types of youths, Indian, white, Vietnamese, whoever, don't really matter. And they're slowly. It's just because of the saturation of the culture. Wherever they turn, they go chicken shop around the corner. They're playing them tunes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Playing them tunes. On the bus, they're playing them tunes.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I'm saying to you. I remember I was doing these shows back then. There was none of this culture. This culture was created to feed something. You know, they don't like black people. They don't care about black people's lives. The other day they put that in America. They shot the boy 16 times. You don't need to shoot anything 16 times, you know, from close up. So there's a hatred and they're allowing each other to get away with it. You get what I'm saying? Because they don't have that love. We don't seem to have a love for ourselves in terms of once it comes to money. Because if you say to somebody, boy, where you do that for? Well, you're here because, you know, I'm making no money. Somebody can put money up on my ears like telephone, like a retard. You know, you're seeing stupidness and you lot are buying into it. The youngers, man putting, you know, stacks of 100 to his ears. Like, what does that mean? You can barely read. You know what I'm saying? What's that mean? What can you achieve with that money except, you know, dig yourself out of the ghetto to get yourself right back into it? You know what I'm saying? There's stuff that we are championing that is meaningless to our development. So if you're cool with that and you're very commercial, then you're nice. But if you're talking about development, then all these things are the marks of retarded people. Who puts money to their ears and they're not 11 years old and say it's a telephone and you're not 12 or you're not 4? Who does that? That means that you're retarded. Your growth and your mentality is retarded. You have not grown up properly.
We have to attack multiple angles in it. That's the
course. That's what I said before about solution. We don't have it all.
At the end of the day, we're fighting a losing battle, innit? Like things are moving faster than we can free ourselves, innit? Like I worked in a primary school around the corner as well. I live right near Mozart, yeah. I worked in a primary school not long ago, and you got these youths are in year 3 and year 4, blood, and they're on that, yeah. And you got this little youth with this Fredo brother, this dickhead, and he's got little youths on videos and whatever. It's crazy. What has to happen, yeah, is I understand that some people can relate to. Raspek is one of them. You can relate to some of the youth them in a way that some other people can't. The thing is like, and Raspek is completely right. His way of approaching, whether it's his life or his mission, is his way, innit? That's his way, and it's a way for everybody. The thing that the issue is that we need to be able to condemn without fear of losing. I don't know.
Faith or whatever. But it's not about
always king. It's not about for everyone of these little driller youths. I got love for them. They're all my little brothers, king.
It's not.
But I don't feel no way to tell them the truth, you know, fam. I'm not begging no acceptance from none of them. Cause what I'm telling them is facts. And if they can't see the facts, one day they will.
Dan, it's not about condemning them. It's about understanding that there's a pathway open for them, that has been made open for them. You know, it's just like I'm saying to you, you got a guy that's like, I'm saying to you, it's not really like the
pathway in the pharmacy, bro, and the pathway in the uni system, bro. The pathways in the estate agent. Become an estate agent, bro. You're handling stolen goods, bro. Work for the museum, you're handling stolen goods. These are just the people that are on the other side of society actually rebelling. That's paying tax.
Yeah, but careful, man.
Being careful.
What's the ripple effect? Okay. Respect. What's the ripple effect of working for an estate agent, though, bro? How many men dying because I'm an estate agent?
Go to Africa and see, bro. Go to the Middle East and see, bro.
I'm saying because I'm an estate agent, bro. Told me I need to be enlightened. Teach me. I need to know,
bro. I'm saying every institution in this society, bro, is connected to corruption, bro. Just because the music one is the man them on the road. Just because the music one is the man one on the road. 1 minute. Just because the music one comes from the people that are put to the bottom of society, the black people they put to the bottom of society. Yeah. Just because it comes from them people who will not conform to the society, have problems conforming in school, have problems conforming in college, have problems conforming and build something for themselves, it doesn't make the people that bent over and conformed and went the other way, yeah, any better than them, fam, at the end of the day, yeah. So what I'm saying is, and this is not me saying that everyone that works in society is bad either. I'm saying the intentions, intentions is key. There's a lot of men that literally, yeah, at the end of the day, Matt, I don't know. Danny, you got some background noise coming still. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, yeah, like the fact of the matter is, yeah, like a lot of these youths that we're talking about, yeah, like we have to look at the environment first. Yeah, I feel like we're talking about the product, yeah, but the environment is an environment where people live on estates that look like prisons. The environment is in a state of mass poverty, yeah, and if we don't address that environment, then this music is always going to be made. You understand? Because end of the day, man are gonna rap about what they're living, and if my young G in Kenneton, when he walks down the road, someone's gonna chase him with a knife when he tries to go Audi for his mum, tell him, yeah, about being a journalist for what he's living through. All I can try to do is actually change the environment. Yeah, you change the environment, you change the people. We can look at people like Fredo's manager. We can look at so many of the artists, yeah, that even when a lot of the artists,
my little cousin Fredo's manager.
1 minute, Danny. A lot of artists, yeah, who was out here talking crud. You can even see it even in a lot of these artists, yeah, these drill artists and these 6ix9ines and these section boys, yeah, when they was talking crud in the beginning, actually saw a viable way out from music. You actually start to hear a change in the music. Bugsy Malone's a good example. He came out talking about beef and violence and war. The minute he started to get to a sense of success, Bugsy started to talk about success. He started to talk about properties. He started to talk about girls. He started to talk about traveling. Why? Because his environment had changed. Yeah, but while Bugsy was in that environment in 0161, yeah, that is what he's going to rap about. That's why I'm saying the emphasis has to be on changing the environment, because people are products of the environment.
100%. But respect, do you understand the logic? Oh yeah, sorry.
Let me add to that, brother. I hear your point, yeah. Now, bro, Bugsy Malone is one of how many has done that? He's one of. Look at Skepta. Skepta's a man who's made it. He's probably gonna clear most of them, many of them. But my man's still talking cred and talking Olipa fuckery, yeah, and promoting Olipa Batman trends and whatever not. But now you made a point about Fredo's manager, yeah, my people, them, yeah. Now them man have made it. Fredo and his manager, you know, they like from this team, like the money's coming in. My man's bought his mum's yard for him, rare. But the reality is still the reality, as you're saying. Yeah, he just come out of jail the other day. Do you understand me? Still the reality. So you can make it, yeah, and get all the way to the top and say, yeah, you put 10 years worth of hard working, but then the karma's still gonna be chasing you because you're still promoting that same vibration of music, brother. So you're gonna end up in jail, or you're gonna end up dead, or you're gonna end up this. So when you're talking about comparing it to the estate agent and rare all the other examples you made, the estate agent gonna end up dead because another estate agent's gonna come and kill him in years to come because of because he's selling more than him. Or he's on his turf in the area selling houses in the same area. It ain't gonna do that, bro. So I hear what you're saying, King. But them man, they're promoting what they're promoting.
All that's gonna happen is some children are gonna get bombed somewhere. That's all that's gonna happen. It's not gonna affect us over here, but I'm telling you, elsewhere.
But we're talking about over here for the moment. And what I'm saying is that
what I'm saying not wrong in it, but the point is that we're all right in it. Respect is not wrong. But at the same time,
sorry, man. I bet the man remember. Hey, yo, pardon me. I bet the man remember. It's Dr. X's show in it. So when X starts speaking, fam, and leading the conversation, man can't really talk over him, you know, fam. Man, I have to give him extra leeway still, guys. It's show, you get me? Yeah, I'm just hosting it.
Right. When we're talking about respect, Leon, when we're talking about this stuff, yeah, when we're talking about this is what bringing all these other aspects into it is what confuses the matter. Either you go down, you know what I'm saying? If you're fighting, you go for someone. If you're gonna lick a man out, you don't stamp on his toe. You punch him in the chin. You know what I'm saying? So you got to figure out what it is. You can add all of these factors, and like what I said is what people do. They add all the facts, but the reality is different. And the reality is that an environment is what you create. Now, an environment is you sitting in a room with your headphones. That's an environment. You know what I'm saying? You sitting in a room with your headphones is that you will create an environment. Because I did. You know what I'm saying? I'll dance or I'll do whatever I need to do with my headphones on and whatever I'm listening to or training or whatever. So I'm saying that, I'm not saying it's all about the music. I'm saying that I remember, this is what I'm giving you my experience. I remember when this wasn't happening, when they imported a lot of poor people into this country and they created this environment. So you're not in control of that. You can't change that overnight because they created it by importing millions of people, you know what I'm saying, who were poor, coming from impoverished countries. These people were doing all the dirty work, which they're still doing now, I remember all these times when you get on a bus going to Peckham and there was no white people on it, it was just pure black people. All of them just come to the country. So they have a way of putting you into a place. So I'm saying for you to have what's known as a methodology, you have to look at what you're looking at. If everybody's got a different plan and everybody's on a different trip, it's going to still, it's in 10 years time, it'd be the same. Remember, if you go back 10 years when they started this I did a whole show called Porn Rap. And I'm saying to you, this is where you lot are heading. You lot are bigging up this under my pom-pom music and underneath my this and that. And look, you know what I'm saying? Spice went to say to a reporter in Jamaica, suck your mother. You know what I'm saying? That he's gone so unruly and disrespectful that you as a woman was going to say to a guy who all he does is comment on you and say that and tell him to suck his mum, in front of a crowd of people. And I'm saying we've gotten, and these people are getting so much say now. You got people talking about them wanting Ferrari and them want a body eat, and you got Mayweather selling you that he's got how much cars and how much watches, and it's just this constant, notice to want to be someone, and if you don't want to be someone materialistically, you're hating. I mean, so in a sense, you've already lost. All we're doing then is marching time and looking to make money, like Polite and them, and we're just looking to make money then. So let's just keep talking so they can pay for us when we keep talking, because nothing's going to happen. There's a difference between wanting something to happen.
You're 100% right, brother, yeah?
And wanting to change something. Wanting to change something requires hard factors. Having conversations ain't going to do it. Look how long the Nation of Islam has been set up, having their conversations. I mean, they host all these things. Nothing changes. Nothing changes because the mechanism that is used, you're not attacking that. You're talking amongst each other. You're not attacking the mechanism that's keeping it. You go and say, right, let's have a meeting about why so much youths are dying. Yeah, you want to see them are dead because of what we. Yeah, clap, clap, clap. Back to normal the next day. Next week, 2 more youths die. The next following week, you have a next meeting. Yeah, we'll do this. Yeah, clap, clap, clap. Next week, the following week, 3 more youths die. So how is this working? How are you doing the same thing? They have this thing. The definition of madness is doing the same things over and over and expecting the different roles. This has been happening for at least 30 years. This same movement, problem, meeting, move on, and that's all we've been doing. So I'm just saying, it's time. Like what else can we just look at and do?
You see, with this thing though, this is what I agree with you 100% on everything you said. Yeah, eloquently put. I just feel like the stigmatizing or like going for drill music is definitely one of the things that we've done over and over again with every genre that's coming.
No, we've never. Edgy. No, I didn't say go for the music. I said go for No, bruv. I'm saying not go for the music. Go for the responsibility of the record. It's not the music.
Yeah.
Halfway. Go to the record companies and go for their irresponsibility to our communities. How about that?
Yeah.
Because remember, it's we that's selling Ciroc, They use my boy to sell Ciroc. They use my boy to sell Hennessy. All of them things doubled and tripled and quadrupled and 10 times sell because of us. And yet we've got no say in them whatsoever. Come on, bruv. There's got to be something else we can do other than that again. We can't attack them youths. They're struggling, and the little money that they make, they're glad for, rather than selling drugs or whatever. Even though they're promoting it in another way.
You said that,
it's not them. The pathway's been laid by someone else. Shut them pathways down and see what happens. See if we can get them to, you know, to look at different. Look, there's so much lyrics that people can say. There's so much complicated. You know, you're like, skirt, skirt. You think that's a lyric? You think that's saying something? You're saying skirt, skirt. You know what I'm saying? No, so what is, you know what I'm saying? You're dumbing the people down and you're expecting them to accept it because everybody wants everybody to make money and nobody wants, you know, you to say nothing. And how's that going to work? You've got to have some sort of social responsibility. You got to think, well,
what would you say the option would be building a counterpart or building a competition? Because like,
you would need a clever person.
Like Raspet always says, isn't it? Yeah, like, unless you've got a bag of conscious artists and rare that you're supporting and you're funding, like we're just pointing a finger. We all have to choose to support what is popping. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, I like how you went through Mayweather and all these different types of people, so you know that this is an international thing and part of a big conspiracy.
Bro, but to choose what is popping, because sorry to jump in at that, brother. But to choose what is popping, man have to, like as Dr. X said, it's we don't, by promoting and sponsoring the music, that ain't choosing what's popping. It's the record labels who put it out there on the platform that they choose what's popping.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I definitely agree.
Most of the fans who are gonna get you places are local white each country, bro. It ain't our people.
No, man. No. There's nothing that moves you. With respect, we respect.
But we can't.
You know, there's nothing that moves until black people say it's cool.
Drill. So I hear what you're saying, but there's only 1 second. There's only been like 4 or 5 man that's been signed. So now they obviously are investing in it. Yeah, but at first it was grimy bedroom music.
That's what I'm saying. You can't get drill. What's next after drill? Murder music. Grime was a setup for it. Hip hop was rap music, not even hip hop. Hip hop was a setup for grime. Yeah. And then grime is a setup for drill. Then what's the drill a setup for? You gotta.
I don't know. I don't know if you can say that because like, with hip hop, there's so much flavor. With grime, there's so much flavor. I couldn't even let man say that it was a negative genre. I just don't believe that. Do you know what I mean?
No, but not like in the beginning. I'm saying that, but no, it's hip hop. Hip hop wasn't negative in the beginning.
Today, yeah, hip hop ain't negative. You get me? I could fling on a whole playlist full of music that is banging, up to date. People like it's not negative, but
you mean like Drake and stuff like that?
If you don't class, I'm
talking about Raspet and Todd's. You get me? I'm talking about homegrown talent. I'm talking about even youngsters.
But we're not
House of Pharaohs. There's good people out there that have.
But
to be honest, someone said something about skirt being dumbing down music, and I'm like, I come from jungle era when man was talking about badam 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 boom boom, like, and that was popping. It's just music.
Yeah, but man, but they had lyrics at the end of it, and they kept on point. They didn't jump from talking about a girl in a car to some flying in a helicopter. And then
not really, man. You can't. I don't know, man. Man was chatting all kinds. I hear you. Now
we're getting individualistic about the music. I'm saying, that's cool. What we're talking about is an influence, not about the individual records that came out. And I'm saying, I remember, if you're talking about gangster music, I remember listening to Scarface. Back in the day, and he was a gangster, and they was rolled, and they was selling, and what they was talking about was real stuff. But it didn't involve killing everybody. Every song wasn't about killing a nigger or how much stuff they had. They talked about
on the same hand. He rapped with guys that talked about eating people. Yeah, but at the same time, Scarface would rap with people like Brother Lynch Hung, who talked about eating people and eating babies and that. So like, this is all artistic expression, and there's fuckeries in it. But
when was that? When was that?
When was what?
When was he talking about eating people?
What, Brother Lynch
when was he talking about eating people?
Brother Lynch Hung.
Is a song that he's got that he's talking about?
One of the brothers that he done a tune with is in jail now for eating someone. Big Lurch. So what I'm saying is, even though Scarface was doing one thing, he also had counterparts and other people that was doing other things within the same genre, on the same record labels, and even sometimes on the same songs.
Right. Okay. So, but I don't know how big Lurch got. I'm just talking about how the music was gangster. Hold on, I'm just talking about how the music was gangster, and it wasn't talking about killing everybody every day. I know you just added something in there. I don't know what that flavor is, but you just added that.
No,
But
I agree with you. What I'm saying is, even in drill, like where it's a new art form, like in grime, there was the grimy section. Where it's a new art form, like people are already trying to expand on it. You got the hope dealers trying to bring their Christian thing to it. You got these man trying to bring. People are trying to expand. And remember, these youths are like, they're really caught up with the melodies.
Yeah, but we're not. But bruv, we're not dealing with that.
I know.
We're dealing with the music that's negative and impacting all the other stuff that comes with it. We shouldn't even have to even address that. We
Let me make
that.
another contribution real quick, please. Just quickly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we need to keep it where it's at. You know what I'm saying? We need to keep it where it's at, which is about the negative stuff. We're not talking about the people that come and do gospel on top.
This is part of the problem.
Beats.
This is part of the problem. We're not talking about everything else. We want to keep it with the negative stuff. What I'm letting you know is that
it's the negative that we're dealing with, isn't it? Isn't it negative?
Let me say something quickly.
The positive stuff.
I can't fight fire with fire, innit? This is the point. This is the point
what is
we're saying.
I don't understand. Where is it we're trying to get?
What
are we? What I'm trying to say is, sometimes, if you give attention to certain things, you only inflame it. Like we know that we're dealing with what they call counter culture. So if you say to the youths, them, if you ban it, if you do whatever,
again, you've gone back to that. No one's talking about the youths, them. I'm saying to you.
Hold on.
Why are you? Bro, you've gone back to something that we've moved away from. We've moved away from that. We're talking about the people that co-sign for them to sing that stuff.
I hear you. Can I finish my sentence though?
I'm with that. One. That one I can jump on for more.
Can I finish my sentence? Yeah. So what I was saying is, if we give attention, to the good shit, the positive stuff, and we encourage that kind of mentality, that's what we need to do. We need to put our best foot forward. We need to not complain about where Uncle Jamal's money is. We need to make a donation. This is what we're trying to say. We can't just be speakers. We got to be doers in terms of giving our attention to those who.
No. You don't have that power.
Happens out here? You know what happens out here? All these bad youths get all the attention. They become the cool ones because we give them the attention.
No, it's not. It's because
that's what happens. This is what happens.
It's not just that, bro. They control everything. They control everything. So if they want to sell you that's what they're going to sell you. What you have to do is affect their corporate mentality.
So are you saying we have no choice on what we buy? Are you saying that we have no choice on what we buy?
Sorry?
Can I say something now?
Are you saying that we can't influence on what we buy?
Let me come to you.
Yeah, one second, Emily, please, brother.
Sorry,
listen,
I want to say
one second, bro. What's the point? What's going on, bro?
Yeah, you've been talking as well. Everyone's talking. Let me say something.
Yeah, but to be honest, I've been getting cut a lot. Like, and I ain't really. Do you get me? As soon as I say something,
bro, answer the question, bro. So anyway, I have to be gone now. Yeah, go on.
I've lost my train of thought. Man just persistently fucking talked over me. I've lost my train of thought. Go ahead, man.
Right, I'm gonna say something then.
Don't we have choice in what we buy? He said, innit? Don't we have choice in what we buy?
I'm saying, yeah. Thank you, my brother. What I was saying is now. Sorry, Are you saying that we cannot have choice in what we buy and we cannot find a way to influence what we buy?
No, not now. Not now. You can't. You've lost that power. What are you talking about? You buy everything. We buy everything right now. We haven't got that united mindset to be able to. You can say you might can do it, Dan might can do it, I might can do it, but that's not what we're running with. We're running with how they affect the mentality across the board, not how they affect individuals or in the thing. Everybody's too individualistic about themselves. This is what, black people cannot work on an individual level because that's how the society lives off. It feeds off of individuality. It's corporate mechanism, it's capitalistic mechanism, it's democratic. It's about splitting up people into individuals. How can you use that and then hope to win? That's their power base. Your only power base that you can get is by coming together, and black people do not know. For years and how many years they've been saying that, we need to unite. They can't do it because the egos get in the way, the lack of impulse control, the lack of, the way to use the front, the front. Remember, these people lack empathy. So you got to show them something else. I don't care if you're killing each other as long as they're making money. So you have to affect something else. You can't say, oh, like we haven't got control. They control all the distribution. They control all the radio stations. They will play what they want. I've heard Drake play from like 3 times on that show. The next show 3 times. I've heard him play the all black. How do they make that? Whose choice is that? Do you think that's each individual radio station wants to do? Each in the DJ wants to play Drake 3 times in their show. They create this environment that makes it seem like it's normal, but it's fabricated. So if you want to make a difference, you have to affect their social conscience. You cannot do it by saying, "Oh, we can choose what music." If that was happening, and that could have happened, that would have happened 10 years ago when we was first on Kilroy and all them Latins talking about how it's affecting us back then, how the youths that was dying in Birmingham and Manchester at that time. Now it's in London, it's gone to a whole nother level. So it was at a little level then when they killed that girl way back and all that. Now it's at a massive level that, people under the age of bloody 15 are killing each other. And no one sees that as, like this, we're still talking. Because white people don't really care. If they cared, they would have jumped out. You think 2 12-year-olds that are white could kill each other and the whole world doesn't stop? No, not with the black people.
Can I step in? Yo, Doc, I'm gonna repeat myself again.
I mean, Brown, one sec. Let me just hail up the super chat family. Them still just slept in some pee. Big up Tony Sutton. Just to big up yourself, Doctah X. Neely Fuller Jr. Works was right. What the white supremacists doing now? I'm Big T. You know Big T. You know him. You know him.
Yeah. What from Genesis?
Yeah. Big up Tony Sutton. Yeah. Continue, fam.
Yeah. So as I'm saying, somebody was going to say something because I said I'm definitely going to half 12. Then so we're going down to half 12. Lee.
Yeah. Yo,
come in, bro.
When you're ready, you can dust out, fam, and
let it continue.
I'll let the rest of the man them just do their thing for an extra half an hour or something. You get me?
All right then, bro. Cool.
Yeah. Let me say my piece again. Yeah, I'm gonna repeat myself again. Yeah, that seems like people keep trying to polarize this thing, and you can't do it. Yeah, it's pointless. We keep polarizing. I think everyone agrees to a certain extent with another man's position, innit? And I think that's something that we need to focus on because you have to attack this thing at all angles, innit? Is everyone saying it's this, it's that? It's not fucking this or that. It's multiple things, innit? So one of the key things, like Jedi was mentioning about negativity, yeah? Listen, through all of the music from the inception of hip hop and even before that, inception of hip hop, the adoption of hip hop in UK, to garage, grime, whatever, we can say that maybe you can say grime wasn't negative or whatever, or there was some. Listen, if it's dealing with capitalism and greed, it's negative, innit? And that runs through every single genre we've had since I've been born. Yeah, every single genre we've had since I've been born. So where you've got again the circular system whereby the culture that predates the kids that are being born into the culture, is being perpetuated by these new kids, right? And because the situation doesn't change, you get me? Like if you don't attack the situation and the
I'm thinking you're kind of reiterating what I'm saying. I get that. What I'm saying is that we're not that powerful. Don't kid yourself. We're not that powerful.
No, bro.
Unless we have to make a power move that impacts upon when the whole of society said, do you remember when them black kids did that? Or do you remember that's what you're gonna do? All this like speeching, and I remember I've been talking about this for years, that the meetings and the speeching and the walking and the protest, where has it gotten us? We're worse.
Yeah,
it can't work if it's getting worse. That means that you're doing the same. It's a madness syndrome where you're doing the same thing over and over and wanting a different result. Shouldn't it be like?
Can I tell you what, bro? Can I tell you what? This is the last point I'm going to make. The reason why this thing still gets perpetuated, right, is because the elders, so people my age, maybe you're a couple of generations older than me, I don't know. The reason being,
generations, bro. Yeah, go on.
Anyway, the reason being, I remember when I was in youth club and that, the guys that were mentoring me were listening to bullshit as well, right? And that's what you find in a lot of these places, is the man them who are trying to teach the youths are still doing or still involved in the culture that really they should be trying to eradicate. And so it's hard for them to completely eradicate it in the youths because they're also part of that culture as well. And it's a circular
thing. I get that.
Avenues Club, for example, my partner used to work in Avenues Club, and she'll tell you, all them man that used to work in there, Yeah, my sisters went there when they were younger as well. All the man them are working there. You see them up and down the Harrow Road in their rides outside the barbershop doing the same bullshit. Yeah, buying up trainers and whatever. So
they have no morality.
Significantly enough for the for at least to give a generation respite. Yeah, every generation is inheriting the same shit over and over again. That's why
because the man them are now buying into the immorality. They're now buying into, like, you know, like when I worked in a youth club, because that's all I ever done when I left school. I straight into youth. I was working with man older than me as a youth. You know what I'm saying? Until they became younger than me. And you have to have morals. You have to say, well, then no, you can't play that music. Play this music. You know, play that, but you're not doing that one bag of effing all up in here, bro. Play that at home when you go home. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a moral line when you draw. But what we're moving towards through rap music, not hip hop. Hip hop came out talking about Malcolm X and, you know, a lot of dance stuff and all that. But then when they invented, when the gangster rap started to become more popular and it turned more into rap music and it started to become more commercial, and then the Diddy's got involved and all that, talking about it's all about money. Then you change the face of hip hop, because they still call it hip hop, even though I don't believe it is, into this money thing. So now everybody talks about, you know, get that money. So not get your morals together. So now they're bigging up girls who are prostitutes and all that, as long as it's about money. So that means that there's nothing that stands in the way. You can't slut shame. You can't do this. It's like, so you see where we're moving to. We're moving to Sodom and Gomorrah and the rise of things that we were fighting against back in the day. That the rise of Rome again. So and people's talking about
moved.
And all stuff like they're talking about suck pussy and all that, and they're moving towards a European mindset, saying this is all about money. So again, you're not in a position of power. So unless you're able to get that position of power, and you won't be getting it by chasing capitalism, you have to change that dynamic, that social dynamic somehow. And I'm saying, as somebody who's somebody that opens awareness, I'm just saying, now look at it. So when you see people doing foolishness and trying to make money out of you by trying to saying brother and sister, you walk past them. That's all I'm trying to expose, because when the guy said about solutions, I know I don't have that. It's no point me saying, yeah, what we need to do is stop the music, or what we need, because let's just talk. Let's not kid ourselves. Our talking's not working. The reality is that we don't have enough power to do anything. The Nation of Islam, which is, you know, is an organization, has been able to do what? Except hold meetings. Tell me what else they've been able to do. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not talking about being able to do a march or being able to help a guy get bail. I'm talking about that affects the nation of black people. Who has been able to do that? The last time that happened was with Martin Luther King in 1962, when he affected the nation with the civil rights movement. Everything else, everybody's beating on their own chest. Yeah, because I gave some money for this youth club, and yeah, I beat on my chest because I did this. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, and it's all selfishness. And if we black people move down that line, we are doomed. You know what I'm saying? We're doomed to extinction because they have no love for us. Okay, what nobody wants to say. I'm never going to move from that position because I don't see any love for black people across the continents. From Australia through Canada, they murder blacks. Through South Africa, through Jamaica, they annihilated every black person that was on those islands. You understand? Annihilated them, massacred them, slaughtered them. That's what they do. They slaughter the entire continent of Australia of blacks and left a few hundred. Are you mad? Do you know what type of people we're dealing with? You think they're just going to roll over and say, yeah, of course, yeah, you get that. They have no intention of us getting anywhere on this planet. So unless we organize ourselves the way we organize and not follow them, the moment you follow them, you're lost, because they have their capitalistic democratic routine is about divide and rule. If you follow that, yeah, you're gonna make money for yourself. You're gonna get a little diss headline for yourself. You're gonna get that, but your group is going nowhere.
Trust me, I can agree with that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, I'm saying. So you see what I'm saying? So that's how powerless we are. So all these people that are coming with these new motivational speakers, you are the one, yeah, and you are real, and all this. It's some bullshit that white people talk to each other, and you can be successful, and all it's some bullshit. It's you as if you're just an average guy that doesn't give a shit about nothing else except making money and having a house, and then you are on that trip. You're basically a black European. That's fine. But you cannot say that you're a conscious black person about consciousness, and you know what I'm saying, and then you ignore the fact what they've done to us and what they're doing to us. You can't ignore that. So then how are you going to get out of it if you haven't got a group of you that can affect the system? This white man telling me that I must go and listen to a woman that's big enough. But this is what a white man's telling me, how to get my education as a black guy. A white man on this show is telling me to go and listen to a white girl that support white people. That's what he's telling me. That's what you're gonna get. Because they don't believe murdering people and slaughtering them and taking their property and taking their resources and living the high life. They don't believe there's anything wrong with that. So we just need to get out. If we, you know what I'm saying? If we don't like it, get out. And everywhere we get out and go, they're there. If we go to Jamaica, they're buying out that. We go to Trinidad, they're buying out that. We go to Africa, they're buying out that. So where's it to get out and go? We're stuck on this planet and they're taking it over. That's it. So what's our next move then? Where people are talking and talking, because it's just going to be talk.
Interesting. Dr. X, you know, you made a good point saying that the Nation of Islam have just been kind of like holding the same meetings and you don't really see much movement from them. I know my brother Isa, the Black Shia, considers them to be a benchmark of black excellence, and I wonder whether he wanted to drop two bars on that still.
I would say in regards to Nation of Islam, in relation to social reformation, they're brilliant, but unfortunately, in relation to their theology, a lot of people aren't feeling that anymore. So I would say they need to upgrade that, and then things could work. But I just wanted to say, in relation to what's being said, brothers, brother Dr. X, for me, I feel we must be able to look at this type of any music that talks about black people killing other black people, whether it's under the guise of the N-word or anything else. It should be seen as black murder music, and it's as simple as that. And it should really grind us up as though we're listening to somebody or people talking about raping children. That's how bad it should be.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
It sounds good to me.
As a community, we need to be sorry to cut in people, but yeah, as a community, we need to be letting go of that music. We shouldn't be waiting for like Sky and YouTube and whoever else to be making these decisions. It should be seen as a community that we see that it's
sorry, one second. I just want to say, I'm saying music in general. So, for instance, for me, any type of music which is talking about some sort of violence, if we look at it from the black paradigm, it becomes war music. One of the things you notice about people of color, before warfare, you had bare drums, you had bare type of chanting which related to warfare. So therefore, when these brothers one week they're making some comments about a next group, that's war music about killing other black people.
Yeah, I know.
You understand?
We're gonna ban films and plays as well.
Reaction as a reaction.
We're gonna ban films and plays.
One sec. It's not about banning, brothers.
It's about social responsibility. It's not about banning, it's about social responsibility. That means that, you know, who wants their son to see somebody slitting their throat at 5 o'clock in the afternoon? Because no, you don't do that, because the social responsibility says no, that doesn't suit that age group. So what we're saying then for social responsibility is that you cannot have, if you notice on some of the one extra songs and all that, they blew out certain type of words. Even that doesn't make no difference because everybody can hear the word, but you know what I'm saying? So that's their form of responsibility. So what I'm saying to you that you're not asking, everybody keeps going to the nth degree when you say stuff, and all you're asking for really is social responsibility, that you cannot allow guys to sing songs, you cannot give money to guys who want to murder other people. What is artistic about murdering other people? Now they're saying about rock music and all these kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? They don't talk about I'm gonna kill that guy over there, or if that guy looks at me, I'm gonna stab him to death. They sing mostly about Satan and some other stuff, and they got their own things going on, but it's not at the level of death and murder as it is with us. So it's like you can't. It's not an equal platform.
Let me just say something.
I got a question as well for Raspek and Jedi. Sorry, bro.
But I didn't finish. Let me say this last.
Go to you, bro.
One sec. Brother, in relation to the rock and heavy metal, these neo-Nazis for a time have had this music where I remember, never forget these lyrics. It says, when you see an N, don't think, just shoot. So they specifically have music in relation to murdering us. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying they're recycling that through their thing and continuously playing it for their children. We have music that relates to murdering ourselves. And I'm not saying, let's say, ban the thing. Even if you had the music, as long as you understand it to be something that's just music, but with us, it becomes a manifest reality. So I don't care what any other group is doing with their music, because if it's not manifested in them killing each other like that, then they don't have to bother with it.
But we are manifesting that thing and killing ourselves and have been for time. So therefore, what's happening with other people, irrelevant.
I agree.
Listen. Let me ask my question quickly then, yeah. I man them, yeah. As conscious rappers that man rate, yeah. Blood. If one of these drill artists started sending for the man them on some cruddy talk about rare, they're gonna come to man's mom jar and slap man's thing and that. Like, how's man gonna receive that, bro? Like, that's what I want to know as a conscious rapper, innit? Like, knowing that this is a little active dude that's really putting in work on his own people out here as well. How's man gonna receive that?
That means I've got beef.
You know what I mean? But the man them elder, innit? So I want to expect your reaction to be that how they used to receive it.
Yeah, but if you're saying this guy's active and he's talking about doing this and doing that, and I know this, then that means I got problems, isn't it?
Absolutely.
All right, bro. There we go.
I got problems.
So what
I got problems.
What about the youth, them king?
Just a quick one, man. Then just a quick one, man.
I'm gonna have to pause.
Just a quick one.
Shout
out AK Somali Pirate, my Jenna. Yeah, he just put a £20 in the Bentley fund. Big up content over everything. Invest in the Bentley fund, my G's. You get me? Shout out AK Somali Pirate because he's a real damn Jenna and I respect him so highly. You get me? Gang.
Let me say as well. Everyone dashing in super chats. Let me this is X's show still. So he's getting a lion's share of all of them super chats still. Man, I know still. I have to slap some people for Father X, hit me. I'm saying that. Respect.
Yo, can I say something? Man's been on the chat for about an hour still and I ain't said nothing, so yeah. What's it? Yeah. No joke. We got Raven still, because I know he's been on for a while as well. They said the word as well. Yes, big up Doctah X. You get me?
Yeah, respect, bro. Yeah, man.
But they seen man for a little while still.
Yeah.
But yeah, 10
down. I know who you are. Yeah. You've been about a minute, bro.
Yeah, but I'm always getting this thing, fam.
Yeah, nice one. Respect, bro. Nice one.
Big up. Yeah. So what am I saying? Right. So obviously, like MA was saying, yeah, everyone's got a point in the thing, in it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like whenever we see music dedicated to killing each other, and we can see the reflection of that happening in our environment, it's definitely something that we have to be concerned about. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that we can celebrate blindly or ignore. You know what I'm saying? Because chicken or egg, whether it's definitely a reflection, but the reflection itself has an impact. You see what I'm saying? The only question is how we go about addressing it. Yeah. And the reality is that, like for me, when people talk about underground or mainstream, yeah, I personally think that Tim Westwood had a major role to play in the level of profile that drill has at the moment, yeah, and certain things have.
He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit.
Oh yeah,
but you know, Chakra. Sorry to cut you. I just need to come in quickly because I think I see what. Because you know, you're a person that puts in work in terms of, you know, like writing stuff and rare, and you see, like, if you wanted to do something, like if people was able, because you know a lot of people like university level and all that, if people was able to know, like, this is what I talk about, teamwork, and like I'm saying, I'm just a goalie, you know what I'm saying, but put in work and say, all right, then let's find out which organizations are supporting which music or which labels, like Universal, and somebody was, you know, this is what you need to compile that and figure out who's doing what, you get what I'm saying, and say, right, this is who we attack. You know,
Man, them were doing that from back in the day, fam. I've done some of that myself. A man like Twilight Bay have been doing that, and I've seen brothers from the nation do that. But I think that where man seeing the thing different, yeah, is the fact that if we're gonna attack the record labels, yeah, and because to be fair, what Jedi said is correct, yeah. When it comes to drill, most of it is not popping off of record labels, fam. Most of these artists consider themselves to be independent, but there are platforms that give them profile. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what's right. So that's where the Westwood and that comes in. Do you see what I'm saying, right? Now, when we as a community look at the issue, though, we have to look at it from the perspective of the fact that these are our children first. Yeah, there are children first. That's the first and foremost thing. Yeah, they're part of our community. So there's a level to which, yeah.
Sorry, my brother. Quick thing, yeah. Westwood Westwood needs drill. Drill don't need Westwood.
No, I'm not. You're right, bro.
When we're talking about platforms, I just want to be like keep it 100% drill. Yeah, it's places like Press Play, Link Up TV, Grime Daily.
Yeah, but bro,
those are the actual platforms that are giving them. That's the truth, isn't it? That's
Yeah, definitely. You're right.
It's a different level, fam.
Bro, they're getting 1 million views. They're getting 1 million views on Link Up TV.
No, I'm not disputing that, bro. I understand what I'm saying, innit?
Yeah.
Grime Daily and Link Up TV, are not they dominate. They're increasing their domination in the market. Let's not get it twisted, and they're a force to be reckoned with. But when it comes to who's popping in the thing, when it comes to mainstream, Grime Daily and Link Up are not yet mainstream. West is mainstream.
I beg to differ.
They're not.
I know what you mean. They're not like radio, but I would say from an impactful level,
they have a
influence level of these youngers. Many of them, I'm telling you, these youngers that I know don't listen to Westwood.
No, I'm not.
And even their favorite drill artist, they might have seen a Westwood crib session. They don't listen to Westwood. They don't listen to his playlist. Rare. But they will check Grime Daily, Press Play, and Mixtape Madness every day. And that's where these back to back.
Bro, I'm not saying that the youth they might listen to Westwood. That's not what I'm saying. Look, if you look at it, right, when it comes, because all the artists, them fam, Link Up TV, Little More, Nuff Man was trying to get on Charlie Sloth and Westwood to do a freestyle, fam. Because there's a level of audience that is there. You see what I'm saying? Right, that gives them exposure. The mainstream is looking at Link Up TV and Grime Daily to see what's popping. That's true. It's also true that Grime Daily and Link Up are setting trends for the mainstream. It's also true that Grime Daily and Link Up are increasing their power within the sphere, to decide what becomes mainstream or not. All those things are true, but they're not when it comes to mainstream, it doesn't get more mainstream than Westwood, and BBC and Capital Extra and them kind of things there. So I'm saying that there's a whole ring in this thing. But my point is, get back to the actual.
Where's their hand in drill? Like I mean,
I understand what I'm saying.
I hear you. But it's like we're looking at the top end, but that's not where the shit is flourished, because you know what? A lot of these guys, by the time they start doing their fire in the booths and they are really getting that one extra, they're doing that crossover thing where they're trying to get me bleep out words and keep it.
The only point I'm making with that is concerned, is that when you look at what the reflection is here, there are certain things that amplify a thing. They amplify particular types of messages. They amplify particular types of artists. And I'm saying that when it gets to them levels there, they pick, choose, and refuse what and who they want to amplify. It doesn't mean that what they amplify was not already going on behind underground.
100%.
Right? But it's just what they amplify. But the point I really want to make is that these are our children first, innit? These are our children, innit? So wherever they're representing, to some level or degree, represents an inadequacy in our community. There is something going on, among us that either creates an environment, or fuels an environment, perpetuates an environment that for these youths to do what they're doing in, or it's not. We're not safeguarding our children enough from certain things, So I'm saying that if we're going to address the problem, and we have to look at the record companies, and all the things that are around it. But first and foremost, I would say, the fact that these are our children, it's about, put it this way, if we're going to attack the record companies or the platforms through which the youth them see that they're making, that they have an avenue to make P and make a living for themselves, then we have to also be looking at what are we creating in our community to create a living for these youths. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'll give you one example of what I'm talking about, one live example in terms of things that man does in it, What's it called? So obviously, man, them know that man deals with Got Kush TV in it, right? And has anyone heard of Drill Minister? Right, Drill Minister.
Yeah, I heard of him still.
Right, and if you probably have, but you don't realize, Drill Minister is the tune called Political Drilling, whereby He took the quotes then from the British parliamentarians and wrote a drill tune based upon what they actually said. Yeah, right. He did that. Yeah, but what he was doing was exposing the violence in the British society. You see what I'm saying? And them kind of things there. And he done an interview where he was talking about basically the fact that the politicians are not indifferent from the youth them. Yeah, but they're just portrayed differently in the media and them kind of things there. So what man did with Got Kush TV is done a breakdown of his argument and related it to a brother who's a university professor called Kane Andrews and an activist, yeah, and bigged up what the youth was doing. So man chose to amplify a message within the art form of drill that was progressive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and support the thing. So man could have done a thing, you know, challenging whatever, and we should challenge our young people. We should challenge our young people with regards to not allowing themselves to become pawns of the system and the record companies and platforms and the whatever. We should do that, you know. We should do that. But 100. But I feel like a beautiful strategy is to look within what is going on. Look within what is going on and find, because there's whenever you see a musical art from developer among youths, there's always somebody that is saying something that we can hold on to and promote and project, among our community and hold it up as positive. And I feel like
but I get you, and I mean that's not new what you're saying. It's been going on for years. What I'm saying is that without being able to affect the top line, not even the bottom line, you're still just going around in circles. Because what you just said, I've said time and time again. But what I'm saying is that you can't do anything because they control everything. They control the media, they control the outlet, they control the Facebook, they control the internet, they control everything. So the only, in my opinion anyway, the only true way that you can affect them is start to affect their social conscience, because then it starts to ripple effect on the white people that like us. You're not going to be able to say, right, let's stand here and it's going to affect this and that's that, and then it's all going to come to an end. There's lots, as you know, as we all know, there's lots of things that's at play here. But what I'm saying, because we seem to have this great focus on just the music alone. All I was just saying was, in why I brought that up, it was about that is one of the aspects that I know personally, and I've seen personally evolved into what it is. And I remember when there was no postcode, and I was saying it was going to happen. I remember when there was no killing and gang thing, and I was saying when it was going to happen. I remember when they were dropping guns on the street. These are things that they're doing. That's what the society does in Jamaica, in Canada, in New York, in Harlem. It's a way in which they control the black population across the globe. This is not something new that they're doing in London or in England. Yeah. So all I'm saying is that you're not going to be able to do all these grand things unless you understand how they function and know what is their weak spot. Now, the weak spot isn't us going to youths, come and, The weak spot is affecting the way they are then reflected themselves back in their own society. Because if one hand they're trying to play that they're not racist, but then having racist behavior, then you can expose their own hypocrisy if you can get together a big enough group. Because one man ain't going to be able to do it, no matter how many. I've been on them programs. It doesn't matter how many programs you've gone. This is why I said the only movement that's happened for me as an individual, I'm talking about me, is the gang thing. The gang thing, when it was a gang, that brought fear to. I read articles that brought fear to people when they saw these group of youths with no sort of ringleader as such, they were affected by that. How did these lot come together? They all look like road youths. How did they manage to do this? And that was effective.
You kind of answered your own thing, because gang didn't go to Venice or Parliament, and they went to them, fam. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But that's because they stay together as a group. That's what I'm saying. An individual can't do it.
Bro, what I'm saying is why it happened is because gang went to the hood. They went to their ends to speak directly to the community. Yeah, and the community in different places came out to respond positively to that.
That's what I'm talking about, though. I'm not talking about where they went. No, I'm not talking about where they went. I'm talking about how they managed to get together. That's what I'm talking about. Not where they went. What they fear, in my opinion, what they fear is that the coming together. Because remember, their objective is divide and rule. So I'm saying that there's, without that teamwork. So if you got if all your players are defenders, you ain't gonna win shit. If all your players are goalkeepers, you ain't gonna win shit. You see what I'm saying? You have to have different players that do different things. If if one man thinks he can do he's not getting nowhere. I can guarantee you that. If he hasn't got other players to do other things, like I was just mentioning to you, if he hasn't got other players, then he ain't going nowhere. So all I'm saying is that we have to also recognize our limitations. We can't just say, all right, this is what we need to do, and that's going to happen. It's not going to happen that way, because this is what they do. This is something that I wouldn't say they're at war with us. They're slowly dissembling us and massacring us and destroying us and all sorts of stuff. And then you know what I'm saying? And unless you're part of that understanding of what they're doing worldwide, not what they're just doing in London, but what they're doing in every other black community where Africans have been imported as immigrants. Yeah, what they and those, you know, and those in the Caribbean islands, are what they do to and Canada. You understand? You understand the methodology they're using and the pattern that they work with. That's what you expose, and that's what you try to break. But the bag of meetings, like the guy said about the nation, I'm not knocking the nation either. They're good at individuals. They're good at changing individuals. But as you can see with individuals, unless you can then move in a group, well, you're still not affected. And so all this individual money and this individual area, they've always talked about uniting. We've always talked about that, and that's gone out the window. And everybody's talking about is me, and I'm the greatest, and this is me, and I can do this, and look what I'm doing, and that's what they love that. Because they know you can't affect them.
My last point, yeah. Sorry, Nanifa. Do you want to come in?
No, go to Virgin. Go to.
My last real point is just is that if we can build a Link Up TV and a Grime Daily that can affect the culture in the way that it's affect the culture at the moment, we can build something else that can affect the culture differently, fam.
But first what I'm saying with Link Up TV,
there are many youths here that are out here trying to chat something different to what's going on, even in the same musical art forms, innit? But because the noise of what's popping at the moment is so loud, a lot of the time they're getting heard, fam. And there are no platform dedicated, to profiling them youth there, because and to just celebrate them for saying what they're saying in the environments that they're saying it, my G. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, that we have to find ways of connecting with the youth them who are making the music and who want to say something, and giving them a platform and celebrating them for saying these things. Because the man them that are doing the music that they're doing right about now, they know because they're seeing it around them that there's avenues for whatever they think is success in saying what they're saying right about now.
Right, but the Got Coot, you're right. I think Got Coot, you know, if it's Got Coot or whatever TV, but you're still going to need those players, because you're still going to need somebody who's good with the camera, somebody who's good with the mic, somebody who knows how to do this type of setup. All these kind of things you're still going to need. You can't just have a platform if you haven't got other players. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying you're not going to have. I'm just making that point. So I'm not saying that you haven't got it. I'm just making that point. So you know what I'm saying? So as long as that's happening, I'm saying you're now starting to affect the movement en masse. That's the only way you're going to affect these people. You know what I'm saying? Because then they, as you said, like they come to you. They have to. But if you're with a people that's about to sell, because if Link Up TV gets big enough, they'll sell it. They'll come for them, and they'll want to buy them out for a massive amount of money. You know what I'm saying? That's how white people operate. So as soon as Link Up TV gets big enough to be like, right, a contender, they're going to come after it as much money as they can throw at it until they get it back to where they want it to be back at. So the same thing with most of these institutions that we build up. We don't realize that they're going to come for us with this big amount of money, like what they did with BET.
So you know, should we be working on the movement or the mindset?
Both of them, both together, in a balance, absolutely. Because you have to remember what you're up against. It's been years. It's been nearly half a century since, and there's lots of patterns that these people use. There's lots of things that they do that nobody's even charting. They're not even bothered to look at what white people are doing to black people on the whole. You're just looking at what the effects of them. But they do certain things along your way. They bought Motown. Every institution you built up, they will come into and break down. I'm not talking the average white person. I'm talking about the mechanism, the racist mechanism that's inbuilt into white society. No matter what nobody wants to tell you, because
you suggest we do then.
That's what I'm just like what you just said. I'm saying that's the only way you have to work on the mind. I don't know, like he just mentioned Got Kush TV. So these are avenues that have to be built up in terms of learning, as I said, self-discipline, you know what I'm saying? Impulse control. You know what I mean? Learn how to use your prefrontal cortex. Understanding. Look, read these things up instead of watching. You know, like these guys want to watch all kind of stupidness. Read about these things. Look at how to be in more control of yourself. So when you're in a situation with another black man who's been through the same problems and it's hurting from, he knows that he's been like me, but I have to control my impulses, and I'm going to give him the respect. I'm not going to think that I because I learned this about it, I'm not going to put him down in order to show him how clever I am, because that's another thing that we've learned through slavery. How to always think that we're cleverer or better than someone else. And they teach you that through the arrogance of European history and European aristocracy about being better than someone else and being successful and all that, so you can talk down to people. And we've got to learn to talk to each other and not talk down to each other, not to talk straight at each other. Like, you know, like Lee came to me, you know what I'm saying? And we talked, you know what I'm saying? We just talk. We you know what I mean? Like, I don't know more than he does. I'm just at a different point in the race than he is. So there's nothing I can say to put him down, and there's nothing he can say to put me down. But if you're not checking your language when you're talking to whether your youngers or your elders or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, if you're not learning all these new ways to mess up slavery or what it's done to us, you know what I'm saying, and trying to follow what white people are trying to tell us to jump on, you're going to end up worse. So that is integral in what we do. You know, in songs about you being unruly and not following rules and not, how the hell is that going to help us when you're being a bad man and you want fuck X amount of girl, and how's that helping us? I don't understand how you can continue to listen to this music and think that tomorrow morning you're going to get up and feel, you know, like you're going to do something decent with your youth. Did you take him to the science museum? You make him know about how this functions, or do you want him to listen to the music in the car with you while you're nodding your head on some drill shit?
I was going to say,
you know what I'm saying?
Doctor, I was going to say, we also need to not be hypocrites in it. In terms of, I don't know Bear Man, but you know, there's always, even in the higher echelons of kind of the black community, you have individuals who, from time to time, their guard slips in it, and they slip back into old habits, and they excuse themselves from that slippage in it. And it's like, I've got men in my family who have always been really brutal with themselves in it, and they never forgive themselves for slipping. So I think if we can look back in a generation after generation, there's been generations who've allowed themselves to slip. In the 70s, they allowed themselves to slip. 80s, 90s. You look at the glorified Notting Hill front line of All Saints Road and things like that. And you've got crack dealers, you got pimps, you got Michael X was a pimp, you got the Metro Club doing all kind of madness in there, and these things are celebrated. And it's like the fucking standards are too low, mate. They're too low. I'm sorry, they're too low. So,
but what I'm saying is that they're undereducating us on purpose. They're pushing us all into the schools with these low-grade teachers. They're making teachers. I've got a couple of friends that are teachers, and they're suffering for the workload. They do it. They organize all this stuff, and then you give a clown, like, with respect to his funniness, because I've been to see him live. Don't get me wrong, because you know when you say stuff, everybody thinks you hate them. But why is a clown earning so much money? You know what I'm saying? And there's so much other people where the money can spread amongst that would make the society a better place to live in. I don't need to laugh every single day and see a guy telling me about how to be an entrepreneur and all you've ever been is a clown all your life. And then someone say, well, no, you can't say that because he couldn't. No, you can't tell me what. I've seen him on the TV all the time. That's what. So you can't then now add something to his personality because I'm saying that. Why is a clown earning so much money? Any of the clowns that are earning money, Kevin Hart. Any of them, they're earning like crazy amounts of money. Actors, I'm talking about all of the entertainers. Why is it that we live in a society where only them people are making that quality of money, when people are starving and struggling to the schools in America, they're looking to have guns, but they got the entertainment industry and trillions. The society is not built to be a good place.
This is America.
Built that way.
Bro, I think this is sometimes where this day and age, if you study like the thing, you realize some of these things you're talking about, like they're not society based. So for example, if you're talking about comedians, and you're talking about some of the artists, fam, before the mainstream picks them up, before man are on Instagram doing memes and going viral. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, like people like Steve-O, like these people literally like built up from their social media. Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear that. That's not. Yeah, I understand that, bro. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but what I'm saying is, man are creating a product, and the product is selling. Now that could be toothpaste man's creating. That could be like, and that's got fluoride inside it. Do you understand, fam?
Yeah, I get that.
And that's affecting the thoughts of the people. So I'm saying in every place in society, we're gonna find good and bad. I think Jedi touched on a very important point earlier. Yeah, is even when we're talking about the negative. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, and this is why I say the conversation's been exhausted. Yeah, I'd say sometimes, yeah, all we're doing is really promoting. That we're really just promoting the same thing. If we're not giving the same energy, yeah, to the positive. Because it's like we're talking about,
bro, this is just an overlooking of a society. What I'm trying to point out is not whether I'm trying to say the foolhardiness of it all. You're not going to get a good society. You're not going to develop some great society with this balance that you have at present. This is what I'm trying to say. Not that that's good and that's bad and this. I'm saying when you look at it, when you break it down and look at it properly, how can you develop a great society when the teachers don't earn no money? All these people that are putting their life on the line are barely making and the people that make you laugh. This is what I'm saying. So if you go back,
Doctor,
let me just finish the point. So let me finish the point. If you go back to history, there's no evidence in our community, in the black community, of this type of thing working for us. We didn't have prisons. We did. So remember, this is just an overview. This is not something that we could work on right now. I'm just giving an overview. So this is not something I'm saying. Yeah, we need to do this, and this is going to change everything. I'm saying when in our communities that we came from or we originated from, there were no prisons. There were none of this stuff. There is no evidence of gesturers and entertainers being the top of society. Right now, when you're looking at the best in your society, you're looking at an actor or a singer or a rapper or a comedian. How did we end up like that? So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, and you're saying it's society, but that society is built off a European mindset. Because the original basketball players were doing their own thing, and they were doing all that you see in basketball now came from the black community, and then they bought that out. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of things that you're seeing happening now was already in the black community. They lived a certain way, but now, instead of living our way, we're now living their way. So remember, I'm not using this as a way of life. I'm just telling you that if you're black and you're thinking from a black perspective, then there's other things to look at when you're realizing how far down this whole we're going.
My brother, I fully understand what you're talking about when you're talking about history, because I'm one of the main people that promotes that we came from a society that did not have prisons. It didn't have old people's homes because we didn't throw away our parents when they got old. It didn't have orphanages because we didn't put uncles adopting. Yeah, it didn't have homelessness because if someone doesn't have a house, we build them a house. It didn't have food poverty because even in Gambia till to this day there's a tradition to make a bowl of rice and some fish and put the bowl out for the whole community, no matter who it is, to come and eat. Yeah, this is fundamental points within our culture that we need to keep. Now, saying that, yeah, because we're talking about the streets, and I'm someone who I don't just come from the streets. I am still fully from the streets, and I still fully rep for the streets. Yeah, this is my home. These are my brothers. My brothers are, like someone put in the chat earlier, Raspek said these brothers are robbers and shotters. Like, those are my brothers, either coming from that background and trying to aspire to better things, and some of my brothers are still there. So when I'm speaking about this situation, I feel like I'm speaking about it from a sense of being there. And as much as there is the negatives to the streets, there's a sense of loyalty, yeah, in the streets that you cannot find anywhere else in society. No other group, no other black group or white group in society has a level of loyalty that you find in the streets. The Bible says, Jesus says, the greatest love is one who will die for his brother. Yeah, the only people that really put that to the test, yeah, put that greatest love to the test are the brothers in the streets, even though it's under wrong circumstances.
Sorry, Raspek, that's strictly true, bro. Like, honestly, is that real? Like, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I get that. It's to a point. To a point.
For me, MA, yeah, the people that I love the most are brothers who have who have put their life on the line for me, and I put my life on the line for them. Yeah, and every day I put the life on. When I stick it on armed feds, a man in the chat, I've seen man stick it on armed feds. Yeah, I'm putting my life on the line for my people. Every time I'm speaking out, every time I'm riding out, every time I'm doing police to police, I'm putting my life on the line for my people. But that's how much I love my people. Yeah, when man ride out and we do the G-walks, we don't just talk about these youths. You understand? And even outside of the YouTube thing, I came off of the online thing. Because in the background, man, still doing the work. You understand? I don't need no camera to prove what man's doing. You understand? The streets will vouch for me. Trust me. Yeah. So it's like that is the greatest love at the end of the day. Yeah. And that greatest love was seen in our fight against slavery. The greatest love was expressed by the brothers in the Zand Rebellion. It was expressed by Nat Turner. It was expressed by Toussaint Louverture. And the thing is, the passage of rights in becoming a warrior, because in this society, unfortunately, if you're a white man and you feel like you're a bit of a soldier, or you feel like you got a little bit of a fighter streak in you, you can join the British Army and you can express that. Yeah, unfortunately, when you're the warrior class from the black community, especially when you got a strong mind and you're never going to bow down for the British Army, unfortunately, there's no way to really channel that energy, and that energy is being channeled in the streets. Yeah, but in order, like at the same time, in order to even be a warrior, like man, have to see certain things. You know what I'm saying? And it's cultivating the warrior class, the same warrior class that when it came time and they shot Mount Duggan, when our brothers in the unis and our brothers in the colleges and our brothers everywhere else in society was sitting in their houses, it was my brothers from the streets that hit the road and put value on my life and everybody's life in this chat. Yeah, it was these same brothers from the streets that are killing each other, that put their passes to one side and had a strength that no one else in our society had. So when I'm talking about the streets, I'm talking from a sense of a lot of these negatives on these estates that you're talking about, my brother. What's his name, Doctah. Yeah, the fact of the matter is, yeah, a lot of these on every estate there might be one. On every estate tomorrow, my brother, if one person went outside and killed someone, do you know how many deaths that would be? Yeah,
that kind of loyalty isn't that's a bit of respect. The reason why I ask you that question, yeah, is because
no, but did you hear what I said, Emma?
Let me just say something quick. The reason why
can you answer the question first, though, bro?
No, but listen to what I'm saying. The reason why I picked up on what you were saying is because you made it sound too black and white, and it's not black and white, bro. So where you're saying loyalty, yeah, I fully understand the type of loyalty you're talking about. I get it. However, if the loyalty is only between a set of 10 or 20 man on this side of the road and up the road, they're loyal to each other, and then across the road, they're loyal to, like just like when you did the G-Walk and we went through Stonebridge, yeah, and we went from one side of the bridge to the other side of the bridge, and we know that them two are beefing, yeah, and even people in the same side of the bridge are beefing. So please contextualize this idea of loyalty, because it's not strictly black and white.
Did you hear my question though, bro?
Oh, say again.
Missed the question.
Say again.
I said if every brother on every estate right now, just one brother from every estate went out and killed someone, how many deaths would that be in one day?
Bro, you pick any number, innit?
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Sometimes this whole sense is being over hyperlined. It's not happening as much as I feel like it could be. If just one person from every estate went out and killed someone, that would be at least 60 deaths in one day or something silly.
But bro, you know? but we're not really. You know what?
That's not what's going on. But what? Sorry, let me get to the crux of my point, because I know I've been talking for time. Yeah. But what I was getting to is that we started to talk about history. Yeah. And what I want to explain to the brothers in the chat is why you have this element called the streets. And in any society, now my problem isn't with the streets. My problem is with us killing each other, and that is the mentality that I'm definitely trying to infiltrate. But at the same time, I still have to understand the social conditions that create this in order to change the situation. Yeah. So the reason why you have this concept of the streets is because you have a society that has unfortunately failed the community, and you have youth. Yeah. That my brothers, can you tell me, but when we was in school, how this system told us we would be successful?
Nah, not at all.
Yeah, like I'm saying, listen, this is what I'm saying to you. Like, I get what you're saying. No, but you're asking another question. I'm going to bug out because 1 o'clock's coming up, and I said I was going at 12:30, so I'm going at 1 for sure. But what I'm saying to you is that as far as I'm concerned,
Doctor, brother.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying, bro. I did hear what you're saying.
No, bro, I just asked if you could answer the question because I asked you a question, so that normally requires a response.
Ask the question again.
I said, in this school system, when they tell us to be successful, how do they say for us to be successful in this society that we're living in?
Get an education, blah, blah, blah.
Go and do sports.
Yeah.
College, school, or sports, right?
Yeah.
Office work, etc.
Okay, so what I'm saying is when our youth now look in the history books, because obviously, you know, when your parent tells you to do something, you're still going to want to see what your parent done. Yeah, and sometimes they don't do as you say, they do as you do. Yeah? So when our youth are looking in these history books or they're in a history lesson and they're trying to find out the hard work that this country done to become the most successful, and I hope Danny's listening right now as well. Yeah, what do our youth learn from this system about how to become successful?
How do other youths learn?
Let me just, because I'm going to go. I'm not going to say. Let me just finish the point and bug out, bro. I'm saying, listen. I'm saying this. You know what I mean? It's we can talk and talk. And I mean, like I said, I've done hundreds of thousands of hours of talk. So I think I'm a bit of a vet at some of this stuff.
Bro, I'm asking a question, bro.
No, but I heard the question you're asking, bro. But these are questions that have been answered so many times. It makes me feel as if I don't. You know what I mean? I'm new to this.
Bro, answer the question, bro.
All right, man said fair, innit? Like answer it for me. Give him the answer, linking, innit?
Yeah, it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's just like these are like kind of basic questions. You know what I'm saying? But
can you answer the question then, bro?
What's the point of asking what question, bro? I didn't even know your answer. I thought it was rhetorical.
No, I asked. We read that we have to work to become successful.
Full stop anyway, bro. We shouldn't be saying that.
So, bro, but you know, but isn't these things by the by? Do you want me to answer and then you respond?
But there's a point I'm trying to make, and the point requires the answer.
Then just make the point.
Yeah, bro. Because I mean, like, to me, this is rudimentary for me.
All right,
you know what I'm saying?
All right, cool. So now, the man can't answer it. Basically,
no, what? No, it's not a quiz, bro.
It's simple. The man just if the man answered it, the man could just answer it. I don't feel like anyway. Okay. I'll answer it. I'll answer it. This system that we live in, when our youth are seeing, they see that this system didn't become successful from hard work. And what these people imply, what it became successful from was starting wars, robbing.
Bro, you see what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? This is how really where I'm at, because remember this. I'm just stating the facts. I'm just stating the facts, bro. If the facts are you not feeling it, you need to talk to the I hear you, Ras. Listen, this is what I'm saying though. What I'm saying is that
no one's getting triggered, boy.
So then let's talk then.
Bro, there's some truth in what Ras is saying.
Everybody's on bickering and debating back to back over small questions, you know, my bros.
Bro, these are rudimentary stuff that we know. We all know.
And he's here to tick like man do.
Dr. X, gentlemen, one at a time, man. Come on, man.
Dr. X, respect to trying to make a further point, bruv. That's why I wanted to answer the question, bruv.
Bro, but listen, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, this is rudimentary stuff. Now, with respect, you know what I'm saying?
I've been talking to a panel, bro. It might be rudimentary to you, but there's people out there that might be learning.
Respect, no, but you wouldn't ask me that question.
It's your channel right now, Doctor. So you can oppress me. I'll shut up. It's your channel, brother. I'll shut up.
Let me make a point. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not about, you see what I'm saying? It's like, I don't expect, this is what I'm saying is why I walked away from this stuff. I'm not expecting this type of juvenile, I shut up. What is that about, bro? I mean, you asked me a question. I said, for myself, I wasn't disrespectful. I said, that's rudimentary. Why would you ask somebody that's been at this game for so long, for over 20 odd years? Why would you ask me a question like that and expect me to answer? I don't find that's respectful, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I'd answer in my sleep. You know, that's something that I've been doing for over 20 odd years.
There was a point, bro. There was a point.
But I said make your point. But you're saying that your point.
My point. What did you do, bro?
your
But I started to make the point. What did you do?
Bro, now it's getting into free argument. Bro, let's just keep it calm, innit?
I'm saying when I started to make the point, bro, you cut me, didn't you?
What did I do? What
just
I
let
didn't
us
cut you.
make
I
the
said
point
to you.
and
I said to you. Just make the point.
Can I make the point then, bro?
Everyone keep their mics muted except for Raspek and X-Man.
Right, like what I'm saying. As I said, like it's a respect thing, yeah. You shouldn't. I wouldn't. There's certain things I wouldn't ask you out of respect. You don't ask people questions. Somebody like me a question like, "What do you think?" Like, it's not a game. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, if you were going to make a point as a young man, you make your point. I said you make it, but I didn't feel no way. But you asked me a question. You asked me a question that I found was very, and I said to you, it was rudimentary. Why would you ask me that? So I'm saying at the end of the day, you're making a point, then make your point. You won't ask me, say, so what do you think like that? You know, okay, you're young and you're doing your thing. I get it. But like I said to you, make your point. So what I'm saying to you as well, like, I get, you know, everybody, when you're young and you're coming up, I've been where you've been at in terms of making, you know, my point across and and that's fine. But what I'm saying is that as far as I'm concerned, as a man, as a grown man, and having to deal with us as a community, a lot of this stuff, we are indisciplined. Our youngers are indisciplined. We are making babies in an indisciplined way. So we're not this comfortable group of people that we're talking about. We're making babies in a very indisciplined and disorganized way. Man, there's 6, 7 baby mothers, this, that. You know, I mean, we've got a lot of other stuff that's happening that's creating these types of youths. This ain't born out of love and just the society alone. It's born out of a lot of recklessness and unruliness on behalf of the young men them that are growing up. So it's not as simple as, oh, like, you know, and there's a lot of grassers, there's a lot of snitches on the road in them same gangs. A lot of them are working for police.
Bro, that's rudimentary as well, isn't it?
Just that. So I'm just making a point on top of your point, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not even just that. I'm saying that
I even made my point, yeah, Uncle. How about that?
That was me, Dr. X. I was saying everything you've just said there is also rudimentary for most of us on the panel and probably most of the listeners. But what I'm saying is it's pretty unfair what you dealt with Raspek, because he was making a major big point, which, to be honest, a lot of people don't even know that in the subconscious mind of the youth, brother, that they're looking back in history and thinking, right, if you look at the pattern of how the youths work, they're following exactly what these people have done on a global scale. These youths are doing it on a small microcosmic scale. It's exactly the same.
That's
what Raspek's saying.
I said to make a point. Why did you
address that though? You went on to baby mothers and all of that.
I'm saying.
There's a panel of us, so you could have answered it. The point I'm making, there's a panel of us, so anybody could have answered it that was in that panel. I'm saying, why would you ask me that question? That's what I'm saying. Remember, it's my show as well. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, why would you ask me that? I wouldn't ask something.
I'll never ask you a question again,
I would just make the point. All I've been doing, I haven't asked nobody no question. I've just made my points. That's what I've do. So that's my thing, isn't it? So all I'm saying is,
Ras, I beg you let him finish, fam, before you cut him off.
I'm just letting him know I never asked him a question again. I'm sorry,
man. Everyone heard that, man. Let him finish the way.
Next time I'll ask.
Yo, Danny, fam. If he wants to, if that's what he wants to say, let him say it, innit? Man don't have to absorb it like that, innit? But let man finish saying what man's saying and then respond, innit? And then same old. You can just make it a one-on-one thing as well, still. Everybody jumping in, it just fucks up the whole flow of the thing. You get me?
That's weird.
Yeah, but like I said, fam, everybody has to respect that it's X's show. So he's gonna run it out. He runs it. You get me? Man, have to be more lenient towards X in it and make him talk when he's talking in it.
It's just like I said. It's just a matter of respect. That's all I'm saying. So it doesn't, you know. It says you'll never answer me another. You know, like all this kind of stuff. It's the same like what the white guy says. Like, oh well, I won't do the. You know, you don't have to say none of that. If you're not going to answer me, just don't answer me. You're a black man. You don't need to say all. We don't need to shoot everything out of our mouth. We could just say, cool, I get it, and that's it. And I will get it, and you will get it. I have to keep, you know, this mouthing off like we always want to say something, and then it reaches, and everybody's temper starts to rise. Sometimes just chill. That's the reason why people hold that little triangular thing to say peace and and you breathe deep. As you get older, you learn how to breathe and say, okay, I get that. Let me just breathe that out. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not a deep thing. But the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, we can't paint no great picture on our people because there's other things that we're doing. All I'm saying is that if we're going to fight against somebody that's doing us something, we should fight against it in a particular way. So rather than end up fighting against each other, and then somebody, you know, like we join inside, so well, you said this and we said that. Everybody should be trying to moderate. So if somebody's like what Leon done, if somebody's in an argument and, you know, it's not jumping on somebody else's side to say that you're going to, you know, and jump on his side. You just don't say moderate it, because we all have the same intention, I think, unless somebody wants their ego to be puffed up more than somebody else. We all have the same intention to get to the same place. So
be fair, brother.
It's easier.
Now,
It's
Isa, I beg you, fam. My ex
It's
finished
easier.
talking what he's talking before man jumps on top of him, fam.
It's
No, there was a
easier.
gap still.
It's easier for people to balance each other out. That's a much more peaceful way. And then when there's an enemy, that's real. Then you rail up again. But I'm not nobody's enemy here, and you know nobody's. So there's no winning. It's just like, are we getting to a point? I say, yeah, that's a good point, or that's not a good point. But it's like what I've noticed, because I've been doing this a number of years, is that somebody's always trying to win over on somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, get to that point. And I'm trying to avoid all of that.
Brother, can I just make a point on what you...
8 minutes past one, you know.
Yeah.
All right, let me just make a
Isa, please, Isa, please.
Go on.
Yo, one sec. Yo, X, before I let anybody else continue talking, what are you saying? You looking to cut now, yeah?
Yeah, bro. You know what time I should have cut for?
No.
No, but this is, you know, it's cool still. It's cool. So if somebody wants to say, if
you want to hear a response from Russ,
let him say what he's saying.
Cool. Yeah, do your thing, Russ.
Yeah. First thing I was gonna ask is, obviously I know it's your show, so obviously I know you're allowed to have more like power. But can I like get this? Do I have permission to fairly speak?
Thank you. Don't log it out. Don't log it out though, bro. Right, nice.
Cool. So obviously you stated that it was a rudimentary question, innit? And for me, it wasn't a rudimentary question. So this is why I personally stated that I wouldn't ask you any questions again, because for me, it wasn't a rudimentary question, and I don't know what's a rudimentary question to you. So in future, I would ask M.A. Brown that question. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that M.A. Brown isn't going to take it as if it's rudimentary, and he's going to realize that it's not about us getting one over the other, like you just said, and he's just going to answer the question. You know what I'm saying? And we can move forward, because I feel like that whole scenario, I wasn't trying to create a scenario of I'm right and you're wrong. I was just simply asking questions just so the people that are listening, because it's not just you in here. Yeah, there's 150 people listening. So just so they could come on the journey with us. Yeah, and actually hear the points out. Not only you say them, but hear them in their own head, rather than me superimpose it. I wanted us to reach to the journey together. Even though I know that you may know this, you still have room to learn. Yeah, just like everyone else on this panel, just like me, I have room to learn. And what was hidden from the wise and the prudent is sometimes revealed to the babe and the suckling. You know what I'm saying? So this is all I was trying to do.
I get that. But like I said,
my line of questioning was and the point I was making is, yeah, that the system has definitely set an example, and as Isa so rightly put, yeah, this plays a subconscious role in the mind of our youth, and even when we're looking at the society we live in, where, you know, the bankers, the politicians, they steal thousands, they get slaps on the wrist, whereas it's different for us in society. When you look at the societal problems, that's why I'm not right or left. I'm definitely not involved in the politics. But when Jeremy Corbyn talks about making £10 an hour, the minimum wage, yeah, stuff like that pricks my ears, because I know that a lot of the things that are going on in the streets are direct root of the actual economic situations that we all find ourselves in. Yeah, and this is just a reality, and I feel like this side of the story isn't always very well articulated, because the brothers who are living that life are not always involved in these conversations, or sometimes the brothers might not be able to articulate themselves in that manner. And then sometimes you got when a brother's able to move on and move away from that and elevate himself, there's brothers that come from that, but once they're able to elevate themselves, the more you elevate yourself from the depths of society, is the less you can relate. And all I'm trying to do is create that relation ground, that middle ground, that always allows actual connection to them. Because as much as this conversation to us and to especially now in IFA and the black mums and the parents and the older people, everyone's going to definitely be clapping and in full agreement. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes where we're losing is we're having these conversations and they're not reaching our target audience, which is the youth, especially these youth. And that is something that I'm definitely working on, and I don't really feel like I'm doing any justice in articulating that, which is why I've stopped speaking, because I feel
no, that's cool though. Like I'm saying to you, like there's always, I remember when you're in a conversation, there's understanding and there's misunderstandings, and we're black and we got a whole lot of stuff to go through. I mean, you're saying stuff that I said earlier on. I said to you that we're all learning. That's what I said to you, and then we never stop. If we live 1,000 years, we don't stop. So that's not what it's about. I just made a stance. What I said to you, that I found that rudimentary. The way you asked it again and again and again, I thought after the first time when I didn't answer it, you'd have just moved on. And when the other guy was saying you would just answer the question. That's what I'm dealing with. Not the fact that you just answered the question, because I wasn't, it's like for a minute I didn't think. I thought it was rhetorical, and then you went you answered the question. Like, to me, you know what I'm saying, that was a bit, so it caught me, you know what I'm saying? So, whether you want to ask another question again at another time when you're making your point, that's up to you. But I'm saying I would still have that same stance, you know what I'm saying? It's like it just didn't fit. I didn't see how it fitted into what you're saying for the you could have answered that question yourself, but I get the point you're trying to make, and I get what you've just said. You know what I'm saying? But like in all of these situations, you know what I'm saying? If we're trying to be on the same page, we're not going to all agree, and we're not going to hit the same point at the same time. But what the bottom line is are we still on the same point, or is there somebody trying to win, or is someone trying to sound better than someone else? You know what I'm saying? Which is a lot of, in terms of our community, is about a lot of egos are out of control because people can't seem to contain their ego, because they want to be, me at the boss, me at the done, me at this man, take no chat from no man and rare. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I spent a lot of time on the streets. I'm not some guy just talking. I spent 3 years in and out of prison. You know what I'm saying? And remand and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a road. I'm a street man. So I'm I'm OG street man. So that means before your time, I was on the road. You know what I'm saying? So the fathers of some of these children, I know them. You know what I'm saying? Or in terms of my era, anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've been working with you for the past 20 years. So I know a bit. So all I'm saying is that when you understand somebody's history, you understand more, like, we don't know each other like that. So therefore, I'm going to be a certain way, you're going to be a certain way. And however you take that is how you take that, and however I take it is how I take it. But no disrespect intended, and no feelings. Just like, yeah, that's how it is, bro. Because I'm still a man at the end of the day, and you're still a man at the end of the day. It's like, that's how it is, and we just roll on. You know what I'm saying? But I got to go now, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's been great.
Enough respect, anyway. Enough respect, though.
Yeah, man, it's been an honor still. You know what I'm saying? And we see. I'll link up with Lee to see if he wants some more Ghetto-Ology across the airway.
I mean, most definitely, fam. Most definitely. But yeah, respect.
Salute, Jenna. Salute. You see that? Yeah, that was healthy, though, King. Although there might have been, debate and difference amongst the community, I rather air amongst my brothers them and teach each other rather than debate with Europeans that don't give a fuck about us and here to just mock us and enrage us. Yeah, I'm saying to you.
And we love for the brothers them to turn up on COE. You get good for the brothers.
Rap is only half European still.
Huh?
Rap is only half European still. He's half Indian as well.
I'm talking about Steve.
I'm joking.
Steve was mocking the thing, fam. You get me?
Yeah. Go on, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, with respect, we as a group, we should tolerate. Like there's a behavior that they have, and if you're happy with it, then you deal with it. I'm not happy with it. I know what they do. You know what I'm saying? I know when they're that particular type of mentality as well, and that's why in the end I said to him, take him off, because he's only just going to keep on doing that. That's what they do. They don't really want to get nowhere. It's a game to them, because they know they're more powerful than us. You know what I mean? They know they're in front of us, so they can do this. They can toy with us in that way, and I don't want to be at the butt of them toying. If they're going to ask a proper question, remember, I've dated white girls, so now white people can chat. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with white boys, so I know how white people go on. So these guys that are coming like they're like, I don't know white people. I know white people, and I know when a boy's being cynical or winding you up, and because I grew with them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not taking that type of talk, that continual rhetoric of going from one question and then saying another question and then going off onto something else. Oh, did you say I was this? Oh, you hate all what? You know, that's what they do. And it will fuck up your argument and derail your argument. And it just gets, as Danny was saying, it's pissing him off. It gets annoying after a while. So you're trying to you're trying to say, well, let me old fault and not make him think that he win. And for come off of the thing. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't give a shit about him, with what he thinks. You know what I'm saying? He's not important. But if he's willing to engage, you know, in the proper way and then ask proper questions and be like, and you know, normal, then fine. But when you start to act, you know, like you're better, you know, like you know more than your society is the greatest, and you can ask and talk when you feel like, that means that, you know, I respect this thing. Where? How about that?
They don't have no respect. No respect at all, bedroom.
Some of them. It's just when you come, it's the energy. When you come up against it.
I'm referring to a man like Steven and that type of character there.
Yeah, that energy there. That's that particular energy I'm talking about. There's other energies that you can communicate with, and they're all right. But that energy there, it's not about nothing. It's not about nothing. Trust me. It's just about getting in your way and wanting you to bow and say that he's intelligent or he's on some level. That's what he's about.
I'm gonna review my debate with Steve on my page after this thing. Yeah, I'm telling you, fam. Yeah, last time we back up in a me, fam, it was his worst nightmare. Yeah,
but yeah, man, I met ex cut now still, man.
Yeah, bro. Like, respect to you all. Yeah, we'll catch up on another one. Yeah, hopefully.
Respect you.
No extra respect for coming on, fam. Man, we're gonna reason behind the scenes and
later down. Yeah, man. Respect.
No respect.
Bless up.